Good afternoon and welcome to the Board of Public Works and Safety June 15th, 2020 meeting. Dave Nutty, will stand to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is Vonda here?
No. You're supposed to be here?
Okay. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
she does not.
My bad.
Vonda's not here, so we will just move on. Everyone has the minutes from the June 1st meeting and the June 3rd. Oh, I'm sorry.
Start over.
Roll call.
Ryan Daub,
Present.
Mike Bishop,
Present.
David Nutty,
Present?
Jim Barrett.
Sorry, I'm in a little bit of pain. I protruded the disc in my back, so bear with me. If I cringe when I stand, yes, it hurts. So everyone has a reading of the minutes of the June 1st, 2020 meeting and the June 3rd executive session and June 4th special session. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. New business, community crossing bid opening.
Or not, two there.
You talking about
Yes, he did
minutes?
say all three.
Yeah, I read them all.
Sorry. That's pulling up, but she didn't see, I didn't see that. My bad.
Okay. We'll get there eventually. Okay. Milestone, total base bid for projects 1 through 11, $979,897.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, please.
$979,897. That's milestone. This one was from
Amir.
Omera.
How's it?
Omera
A-M-E-R.
at $777,089.29. $777,089.29.
Gotcha.
Is that the only two?
Yep. Just the month off.
I'll mess them up.
We'll look at these, take it under our engineering advisement, and
Yeah, there's a Harry, got anything you need to add to that?
No. Does it need a motion for that?
Yes.
we can.
Any questions from council?
No, just need to take it under advisement and vote on it.
Okay, have a motion that we take the bids under advisement.
So moved.
There's
Motion
enough.
is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. Is Birdie out there?
She said, I don't know what she. Oh, sorry.
Ask Diana to come in here real quick, please.
Well, we can just add, Bertie McKenna is requesting permission to conduct the Luminaries along Park Road on July 11th, 2020. They normally do they used to do the Relay for Life that weekend, but it's not as big, but they still try to do the Luminaries to raise money for it.
So make sure she's not in the office. And that was down Park Road, Latoya?
Yes.
She's not in the office? Birdie? Okay.
Yeah, with the understanding, as in the past, of being mindful of those luminaries and clean up afterwards. I'd
That was some of the
approve that.
questions that we had was, I wanna know when they're gonna put them out and when they're gonna clean them up. You know, last year they were kinda left out in the wind blowing, kinda made a mess, so.
You wanna table it?
No, I will go ahead and approve it with that understanding they have a timeline of window of opportunity to get them out and clean them up. That makes
So
sense.
24-hour clock for them?
I think so.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of this, putting on they have a 24-hour clock to clean up. If all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Make sure I communicate that to her, Diane, if you don't mind, please.
I will call her right now.
Thank you. Okay, approval of resolution 2020-11, City Hall transfer, Rosemary.
I've actually bumped it up to $2,000 instead of just $1,000. It's moving $2,000 from City Hall building material to minor equipment.
Just for the internet.
Some of it's for the internet and some is for just upgrading.
We've been having Wi-Fi problems, switching problems here at City Hall. Internet has not, well, we had a Zoom meeting where it all froze up. Part of it was our switches, so we've been in the process of trying to update some old,
Stuff.
yeah, old stuff. That's a kind way of putting it, but it was just pretty bad. So you can see when you walk in now, there's a little blue thing on the top of the ceiling. That's part of the Wi-Fi. But it was bad. We was having bad connections. We were trying to hold Zoom meetings and it was not working too well all the time. So we needed to upgrade that. So any questions on that? No, Michael did a good job searching too, finding out what works good and how to get the best prices. So he did a good job. So yeah, take a motion. We approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, item D, the approval to place vehicles in the auction. You see the Park Street and Airport, the auction, correct me if I'm wrong, Rosemary, is the 20th, correct?
Yes, auction is June 20th.
The police and EMS, we already got prior approval for those, so these are being in addition to that. Any questions on those?
I appreciate the work each department's done to go ahead and get rid of some of the equipment that's not usable. We appreciate that.
Yes, and don't forget the one with the airport, we took the utilities, gave to the airport, so they have a nicer vehicle as well. Not having
They
to buy
have a
one.
van too, don't they?
Yeah, the vans are shared their agreement there, yeah.
I think, Your Honor, I said this in the last meeting, but they might as well go ahead and get it all while they're doing it.
We're working on it.
Need a motion to approve.
The only question I have is who's reporting to the insurance companies to remove them from insurance? Is the department heads, is the clerk, or you?
I've got a spreadsheet I'm gonna get with Rosemary, sit down and confirm everything, and then we'll present it.
Okay.
I didn't wanna take the insurance off until they were sold.
Oh, I understand, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll compare spreadsheets and get done.
I second Jim's motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Approval of NDOT City Carnival sidewalk contracts for construction and inspection. That's the contract you see here. You got a couple of them. Those, these are three or just two? There's two.
2 or 3.
Nope, there's three. Nope, two, sorry. This is really not much to our saying. This is for the grant process, so everything in here is worded the way they want to see it. We basically just have to approve it so we can move forward on it. So, any questions on that?
Motion to approve?
We have a motion to approve?
Both contracts?
Both contracts, yes.
Yep. Is there a second, Dave?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Thank you. We've also got everything ready to go with our health insurance. We know we discussed the last meeting. We did meet with all the unions for several hours. It was a very good, lengthy discussion. They're ready to move forward as well. We just need to get Board of Works to get their blessing on it so we can start moving forward, because it's quite the process They've been working with Rosemary very closely, very confident in the company, so really just need, the tricky part's still gonna be AIM, so we're still working on that, but, we just need to get permission to move forward with this, with the contracts here.
I appreciate what Mike and Brian have done in asking Bill all these questions, taking care of that. Answered a lot of questions I had, so I appreciate that.
I still have a couple questions on it. I wish Bill was here today, but, I mean, he went from an email to saying that worst-case scenario was 81,000 in savings, to the meeting we had was 560,000. And then I also didn't see anything in the contract about if there's any additional expenditures that we would have, like, you know, adjustments in rates. I saw where we had to be notified by certified mail, but is there any other cost included in?
We control our rates. That's the difference with this, is we are in full control of our rates. We'll set our rates, and we establish our rates. We've built a team with, one of the goals with doing this is we've established a team with the, both unions, with City Hall. We'll have a person from council, a person from Board of Works on a committee that looks at our insurance program, because this is a partially self-funded, and we are going to be in control of our rates. We will make those decisions together as one body, as what our insurance looks like, what our rates are going to be, and how we can adjust those different things we can do. That went a long way with getting their input as well. But we're in control of the rates. The difference is the problem we're having now is we're trying to figure out which we got coverage with that now. It's like a 12-15, I think, or a 15-12 coverage. What we have is when we get cut off from IACT, which will be immediately, those bills aren't turned in. We are still covered for those, so we won't have huge exorbitant bills. We're protected through those. That was a big issue with me, was being protected. Once we just say we're done with IACT insurance, we are now responsible for all bills, which does not make sense to me. If we're paying for coverage, you think you'd get it, but you don't, and that, according to that contract. So we've got coverage to protect us on this as well. So,
Is that, excuse me, is that temporary until you get it finalized, or is that permanent?
no, that'd be, we're covered. So our expenses can't go above a certain amount.
Okay.
We'll be protected.
Okay.
It was called a 15-12 by, I don't know what it was called. It was on the insurance. We looked at it. Those guys understand it more
Yeah.
on the insurance, but we're fully protected on that. We've researched every angle. The reason it's hard to get specifics, they won't give us all of our information. They keep telling us they're open, you own it, it's your information. We can't get it. I've tried every angle. We've got every attorney working on it. Oh, they say they're going to be open and honest and give everything to us. They will not give it to us. So it's very difficult to get accurate information from these guys. But everyone I've talked to that's been on this Apex loves it. I've actually had a couple people call me from town, so they switched their company to it, and they absolutely love it. So
How often,
it's a way for we get to control it ourselves now. We can go through and pick out pieces and control it and do different things and different options independently. Where with IAC you can't. It's just, here's your bill. Was it 36,000 employee, which is ridiculous, and go on. So
That's good to know, good to have.
yeah,
how often do we get reports from them? So we know how this is working.
I'm assuming as often as you want them.
Does this
I
add
know
any
what-
more work to clerk's office staff?
I'll let her answer that.
It,
Initial setup's gonna be a lot, yes.
it already has been, and they will have once a month administrative bill, but the claims will be weekly. We asked if we could go to bi-weekly. I don't know if they ever came back with us on that. So,
And has our legal counsel looked through the?
Yeah, I have, and I talked to Jeff, Friday, or no?
Thursday.
Friday's Thursday. And he hadn't finished looking at it before, but at that time. The only question I have really is that well, it's not a question so much as, if this doesn't work out, you do have a 90-day, if for some reason you decide you don't like
You
it.
can get out
You
anytime.
can get out, as long as it's within 90 days from the expiration date. So that's a pretty long period of time. But just keep that in mind. The other thing is their compensation is not real clear to me from reading either one of these. I'm not sure how that works, honestly, their fees, how they're going to be paid.
Their administration fees is
Yeah.
laid out in,
It comes out as a commission in one, you've got contingent commissions, regular commissions, and,
it was laid out in that spreadsheet, and I didn't bring that
It
spreadsheet.
said that the insurance company or whatever would pay the commissions to Apex, is what I
Right.
read.
yeah, that was one of them. Then there's another fee that they say is attached to Exhibit B, and Exhibit B that just says upon execution of this agreement, Apex will accept the carrier's standard percentage of premium-based stop-loss commission. I'm not sure what that means, honestly.
There was a spreadsheet, and I didn't bring it.
But as long as it's all, you understand it, and as long as you've got the other documentation, then that's fine. Just because I don't understand it, then it shouldn't make any difference.
You're not, don't
Oh,
feel
it's,
anything because
this
it's very
health
complicated.
insurance is 90% Greek to me.
It's pretty
There's a
close.
lot. That's why I had every party involved in there,
Yeah.
asking questions, grilling it, and they grilled them real good.
I mean, when he was here last meeting, the representative, he stated it was gonna save the city money, Mr. Gauss. And, but as far as actually how it's paid, I just don't understand that. It's not provided in here to my way of understanding. But he did say about what the savings in a worst-case scenario would be. It would still be a savings to the city, so.
Either way, it's the same as the city right
Right.
now.
Yeah, but it's a big difference between 560 to 81.
Oh, I get that.
I mean, that's a lot of money to just, almost $500,000 to not know what we're saving. You know,
Well-
and I agree with what I believe Dave said, was seeing some progression or seeing where we're at periodically, whether it's quarterly statements or semi-annual or.
We never talked about reporting, we just talked about establishing a committee, and we didn't establish how often we're going to meet, but getting reporting will be wherever we ask. That won't be a problem.
I got the timeline charts that I asked for from him, and reviewing them, they're fairly consistent. I mean,
Fairly.
there's a slight, of course, every, chart's got a up and down in it, but if you draw a straight line across it, it's reasonably consistent with what they're saying, but it's just difficult to understand. I mean, all insurance company policies are and what have you. That's why we pay the attorneys, I guess.
Mr. Mayor, if I could say something.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
In the meeting we had with the gentleman, one of my big concerns was when they talked to the providers and you got this bill, and, I asked him, who's going, if you can't reach an agreement, who's going to pay the bill? He said they.
Mhm.
And that, to me, is one of the keys. The other key was, you mentioned earlier, that if, to get out of this insurance company you have now, you have to get the notice and all that, and you couldn't even get a quote from some other carrier. So one thing about it, if this doesn't work, we can go to some other insurance carrier.
We
And
have-
I'm sure
we-
there's somebody else is out there that's willing to take us on.
We have the information because we control the information at that point. It's ours, we own it. Right now, it's almost impossible to bid, and they give you a 3-week opportunity to get out, and you gotta wait for 8 months. Well, no one's gonna bid that, and they know that. That's why no one's ever gotten out of this. It's almost impossible to get out of.
Well, looking at a different insurance, it's timely because we all know that municipalities, state governments, we're all going to be cut short on income because of this COVID-19, this coronavirus. So something like this, whether it's 81 or 500, there's certainly a difference in that, but still there is a savings. And Mike, if you get a chance to share that with some of us.
And the reason it's hard
Forward
to
it.
drill it down is because we can't get that information. What I can tell you is the county's been on this for 4 years now, 3 or 4 years, and they've seen significant savings every single year. And if it weren't for that, I'd have been very skeptical of it. Is it working? Yes, it's working great. Do you have problems? Yes, everyone has problems. Here's how you deal with the problems. It's going to be a learning curve on everybody's side. I mean, they're going to have to handle stuff differently now, but when they get these bills, as soon as you get this bill, here's how you handle it. It's just a process we have to set up, basically. But if the county would have been even the slightest hesitant, I wouldn't have looked at it at all.
I haven't
One
heard
thing-
any, go ahead, Rosemary.
One thing the county does not have that we do is we have retirees. And
That's what's driving our cost.
and that will change, you know, 100,000 down, down to nothing quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what the big difference is there.
But the retirees still remain on the health insurance policy or the way it is effective
Yes.
now?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's by contract.
Okay, well, when you say it went from 100,000 to 0.
They don't have retiree insurance. So your biggest difference from them, and our insurance isn't apple to apple. Our insurance is a little bit better than what they have in the county. There was an extra 10,000 a person just for retiree benefits on top of the price. So we now know our cost. We now know where our cost should be. And we now know I have costs and everything, but we won't get those numbers more accurate until we get the information. The difference is we can control this thing. We can now sit down as a group and say, hey, here's something we need to change. Let's look at changing this and just start driving those numbers down.
What
Where
we're gonna do-
We have no control right now.
What the plan is going forward is what we'll do is we'll create a fund to have the employees' portion to go into this fund, and then the city's portion will go into this fund. We'll pay out the administrative fees and the claims. So hopefully at the end of this year, we'll have the history of the claims,
Yeah.
the second 6 months, to be able to set up a new rate for next year. But it all depends on how the claims come in. But we can't do that until after we get the history.
And speaking to the county, I haven't had any negative comments about it at all.
There's been a
It's
couple,
mi-
but
it's minimal. I mean, I
a lot
shouldn't
of
say
it,
it all.
a lot of it is just, it's a little extra work on the
Yeah.
employee side if there's a problem. But you know, all the little extra work is picking up a phone and calling Apex, and I take care of it.
That
That's
savings
the
is
benefit
there,
for it.
there's no doubt.
And you have to do a little bit of due diligence on your front end side. Just like with an HSA, if you got an HSA, you're going to find a place that gives you a little better deal because it's your
Right.
money. This is their money, and they're going to be learning this. They're going to be dealing with it, so it can be a little more work.
Did we get any other numbers that are, kind of holds them in check a little bit?
No
or-
one contacted me. I did get a contact last Thursday or Friday from someone, and I compared it, and they had a similar benefit, which was not near as good, and it had some. It didn't have it had a 12-12 coverage, not a 15-12 coverage, which I needed a 15, and it was still higher. And then we looked at just a regular insurance rate without a fund. What do you call it? It's not fully self-funded. It's not my terms. Going back to Greek, and it was still significantly more. It had been just like what we had, basically, but it was still pretty significant. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it was basically the same thing we had without the fund, the trust fund. So, but they just got with me Friday, and I was like, man, I've been asking for this for a long time, but it's okay. But their numbers, I'm still comfortable with this one. And the one of the reasons I'm real comfortable with this is their response. Man, if I got a question, if any of the guys have a question, it's just boom, they respond. That tells me how they're going to respond when we have problems or a balance bill or whatever. I know how they're going to respond.
The only two other concerns that I have, and then I'll leave it alone, is that Apex, unless I read it wrong, but Apex owns the information.
No, we're self-funded. We own it.
I'll have to read through the contract again, or the agreement. 'cause I
Information's
could've
ours.
sworn- I thought it said that we have to turn over all the paperwork if we remove Apex.
I don't think so. It's all ours because we're self-funded. We own it.
Okay. And then if Apex decides that they don't want in it, they can give us writing, and in 5 days, we're with it coverage. But if we want to get out, we have to notify them by certified mail in 90 days. or if there's a breach of contract, we can dispose of the contract
I
immediately.
didn't see that language with the 5 days.
The termination is in this, the one with the apex at the top on page, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I thought I saw it somewhere.
It says term and termination, agreement shall remain in force for 1 year. That
Yeah.
says, this agreement may be terminated by either party, by giving written notice at least 90 days prior to the renewal
Yeah,
date.
I thought it was 90 days. I didn't see the 5.
Where'd you see the 5 days at, Brian?
I
'Cause I
should
read it, I
highlight it.
didn't see it, but that don't mean it isn't there. It would be in this,
Well, there's two different ones, and a couple of them, they have different days listed. Like on the first copy of just the business associate agreement, on page 2, it calls 15 days. And then in the Apex agreement, it calls for 30 days of a breach, 90 days written.
The notices will be deemed given 5 business days after being sent, but that's not 5 days. I just say you got 5 days where it's deemed pursuant. You still gotta do yours 90 days.
I mean, I know we can always reach out for other insurance carriers, but it's just,
I read the 15 days as if there's a breach,
Yeah,
not that if we're getting out.
yeah.
but on the other sheet, if there's a breach, it says 90 days. So it just seems like there's some contrast between the two. And then it says, upon termination of the agreement for any reason, client, which we're the client, shall either return to Apex or destroy all confidential information. So if we leave, we have to turn all the information over to Apex.
Your 5 business days that's different. That's 5 business days sent by certified mail. It's deemed given 5 days once you do a certified mail. That's not 5 days. It's deemed 5 days on the mail side.
Where'd you see that, Mayor?
AI, page 7. Under notices, that's a notice.
yeah. That's-
Oh.
That's what I was, yeah.
That's just notices. That's 5 business days.
But when it says all notices, is that notice of termination?
That's when you're mailing it. You get 5. That's 5 days of
That's your
mailing.
terms of agreement, yeah.
Yeah, that's for mailing. That's not your notification.
Okay.
Not that I understood everything I read, but what I've read, it appears to me that this would be good for the city of Connersville and the employees that will be covered. So if there's no more questions, I'd make a motion that we enter into this agreement.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. We will move on that. Okay, Brad, utility matters.
Howdy.
All right.
How are you, sir?
Hey, Brad.
First thing is your approval of the bids for the 30th Street project. Strain reported back to us after checking on all 3 of those and found that O'Meara was the apparent low bidder. Their bid was in order at $348,412.
How much, Brad, again, I'm sorry, 3?
$348,412.
Chill, Mara.
That's here on the back, right?
That is O'Meara.
Okay.
Need a motion to approve.
Yes, any questions on that first?
Make a motion, we accept the mayor's contract.
I'll second.
Have a motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Okay.
The next thing we have is shopping for prices to upgrade all the security at the old utilities. This includes all of our facilities and the solar field. So the best bid that I'm recommending is to Hillfi. There are quite a bit more camera coverage in that quote. It's a little bit higher by $400-something. But it's got quite a few more cameras in it.
Is this a not to exceed? Okay.
Who gets the opportunity to view this? Is it your office only, or the employees at each location, or?
To view the cameras.
Or
The office will probably have access to all, and probably the employees at each of those locations would have access to theirs. Some employees.
Yeah, I would agree.
But there's a
Management-
lot in this. I mean, I could go into it. I don't really like discussing the security of the
I agree.
utilities on television, so.
Brad, is there a maintenance issue that goes with this? I mean, do they need to come back periodically and check it, or is that our responsibility once we buy it?
Yeah, I mean, once it's up and running and everything, if there's like if one of the cameras goes bad or something, then we'll pay a fee or whatever for them to come check it out.
Is there a warranty, like a first 1-year warranty that, in the beginning, I read through it. And
Yeah, he offers I don't think I have that with me.
I didn't hear
See it in there. That was just a bid.
Did you see it?
It was just a bid in here.
That's okay, I'll just
It's
ask.
got a
you
warranty, I
first.
can't tell you
It's
exactly
okay, as
what
long as
it
it's got
is.
one, that's fine.
Brad, when we talked about this too, we were talking about maybe having an app on somebody's phone that could monitor it in case there is some motion. Okay.
Yeah, we will. There's like I said, I don't want to get into the details.
No, I
I'll be glad
understand.
to tell you all about how it works and what all's in this, but
I'd be interested in knowing.
Mayor, I think this is an excellent idea.
So do I.
I think we should probably take a long time ago, and that, I'm making a motion that they accept Hillfi's bid of
I'll second.
$18,885.02.
I have a motion to accept Hillfi's bid and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Good work, Brett.
Good work, Brad.
Catherine. I see the name change.
Nice to see everybody.
Nice to
again.
see you.
Not
Yes,
seen you
it
around.
is.
I don't think I've seen you guys yet. The park has the very good fortune of partnering with several organizations here in the community. Community Voices, Discover Connorsville for the extension, and the JCs. All of those groups have been working tirelessly to renovate 2nd Street Park. Unfortunately, we lost Joel earlier this year, and it was brought to my request to change the name of 2nd Street Park to honor the Long family. Some brief history that Brad Wilson has shared with me was that the park was there is actually a stone there now memorializing one of Joel's brothers, who was killed while that park was being renovated by the JCs way back 40-some years ago. So it kind of all seemed to make sense. I believe you have a resolution in your packet today to change the name from 2nd Street Park to the J period, because all of the Long brothers and sisters, all their names started with J. So J period Long, 2nd Street Memorial Park. The park board already approved this at their last meeting in May, and then tonight I will also ask city council to approve that name change. I don't know if anybody had any questions or?
No, I just know that Joel has been a personal friend and a, good family friend for a long time, and there's no other better ways maybe, to commemorate him, but this is a perfect way of doing
Yeah.
that.
he cared a lot about our park system, he cared a lot about our trail system, and we will miss him a great deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Mayor, if I could, I'd like to make a motion to accept the capital proposal.
Okay.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. Unless there's no other discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Hey, Catherine, I do have one question on the backside of the Parks Department report. When it said that you were looking to be able to hire one more seasonal staff for maintenance.
Oh, I think I have to come back up. Do you want me to come back up, or do you want me to do mine now?
Since you're the last one, I'll just go ahead and stand up there and do the
Okay.
report.
What's your question?
Sorry.
Jump the gun on me, Brian.
Sorry, I wasn't looking on down.
Bolos, you're not first this
You
time,
saved
buddy.
me, I don't have to- You had a question about our staff.
Yes, are you replacing the person that resigned?
Yes,
Yeah.
so, you all have my report, I wanted to, give you a couple updates on some things. So Brian is asking, Steve Dunsel has resigned his position at the park. His 2 weeks, ended on June the 12th, which was last Friday, so he is officially, no longer a city employee. We wish Steve the best, and I think he'll be very happy in the position that he's found. At this time, I'm not ready to jump into just hiring somebody else. And I don't know exactly how this works. Do I ask your permission now to advertise at some point? Or do I come back when I'm ready to advertise the position? It's already been advertised at the street department. And no one wanted to transfer. So we would be opening this up to a general application process. So can I get permission now and then just whenever?
Did you say you
I don't
have
see why
someone in
not.
mind, or you,
I do not.
Okay.
I'm just not in, I'm
don't
not
see
in a
why not.
hurry
that's the reason I
to,
asked, okay.
Yeah.
I really wanna take some time, take some time with this interview process because it's a person that we're all gonna spend a lot of time with and wanna make sure that, we find the right fit.
I mean, do you have, offer a suggestion, do you have a job description for this written?
Yes, we need to review that and make sure everything's correct, and that's another reason I wanna take some time
Okay, that's
and
good.
kind of,
Okay.
make sure we do everything the way we should, so I guess I do need to ask your permission then to advertise at some point.
Mayor, if I could,
Yes.
I'd like to go ahead and approve for her to hire a new employee.
To advertise, to hire.
Advertise.
I'll
We have a
sec-
motion to
I'll
advertise.
second
In her timing.
In her
Yeah,
time.
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you.
In other staff news, we did have one of our seasonal employees, his last day was also June 12th. We actually decided to take on 2 additional seasonal staff, just because Steve had left and Dakota had found a job as an electrician's apprentice, which is what he wants to be, so we're happy for Dakota. Zachary Price started last Wednesday, he's working out very well. And today, Kyle Burgoon, it was his first day today. So we have continued to add some quality employees to our staff. I did want to kind of back up and give you just a couple quick updates. Under Roberts Park, it says that the playgrounds are closed. The governor actually changed that and the playgrounds opened last Friday, June the 12th. So everything, all our park facilities are open. All we are doing right now is being open in accordance with those social gathering guidelines. So we are open for facility rentals, playgrounds, sports fields, whatever it is, it's open. We do have some additional cleaning precautions that we're taking. We did open the pool this morning. That was very exciting. We did have a line standing outside the door. We were up to 131 people when I called right before I came to this meeting. We are at 200 people until July 4th. And if anybody needs to know, the pool phone number is 827-0775. Call that number for a pool party, or if you want to know where you at capacity-wise, we're thinking of coming in.
May I mention about the pool, your Facebook post on the pool, showing step by step from the time you enter until you go out into the pool and the splash area. I thought that was well done,
Thanks.
well explained.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a great way to do that.
And it showcased some of more of our staff. We take on about 50 people during the summer, and they don't get all the credit they deserve. And they're really good. I shouldn't say kids, young adults. They do a great job.
Yeah, that's a great way to do that.
Yeah, I agree with Dave, it's very well done.
Thank you. We are also running camp. Camp opened up on June 3rd. Opening day, we had 37 kids. This morning, we had 40 kids. So we are still running very well with camp. I also wanted to let you guys know that we did receive a grant from Reed Health for $1,800, and that is going to allow us to run free fitness programs. Basically, it starts tomorrow, and it runs all the way through September. So we originally were going to start in May, but we all know why that fell apart. So we'll be offering Zumba on Tuesdays, yoga on Wednesdays, and Pound Fitness, which is aerobics class of sorts where you use they're called rip sticks. They kind of look like drumsticks to me. That will be on Thursdays. Everything is at 6 o'clock at the pavilion. So just wanted to, again, give a thank you to Reed Health for that funding, because it allows us to offer all of that for free to the community. And we're still looking for water aerobics instructor. We hope to be able to offer water aerobics for free as well. We're also looking into running some free sports clinics. We've had several people reach out to us about helping with the possibility of a baseball clinic, a softball clinic, a soccer clinic. And people would be volunteering to run those programs. So again, it could be, there's a possibility it would be a free service to the community for the summer, since our summer sports got delayed by the COVID-19. I did also want to let you know that the DNR did inspect River's Edge Phase 1. They walked through on June 4th, and they will be signing off on that contract. We do have some things that we still need to finish, but they did agree to go ahead and sign off. So that portion is heading toward a close.
When does the Connersville's responsibility start with that then, when they sign off on it?
Well, I believe we've always had responsibility, is that correct? And they were, what I'm referring to is basically their funding. It was a reimbursement program, so we had to show so much construction progress in relation to how much of the funding they would release at a time. So they wanted to, so for this last portion of funding, they were holding it until they did what they called their final walkthrough. And they did that on June 4th and said everything was to a point that they would agree to sign off. And that will release the money with Rosemary to be able to pay our final bills. So.
Excuse me, while you're on the DNR subject, I see in item 3 here, where they're to evaluate
No,
small.
and I wrote down email the DNR as I was reading.
Have they done that?
No, and I imagine they've been delayed because of the virus, but I wrote that down too. I need
Well, I've got some of the
to
good
follow
old
up with
boys
them
keeps calling me, wanting to know when they're
about
gonna
the
do that.
fish, yeah. I will email him and get back to you next time.
Please, I'd like to have that so I can give them an answer. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be a delay issue because of the virus, but. And we also hope to get movies in the park. We had all that set up, ready to go, and we hope that's gonna start here after July 4th, when those social gathering guidelines are lifted, so. That's all I have.
I do want to let everyone know on the pool too. I mean, Catherine and I, how long we weighed this discussion very heavily on the pool. A lot of other counties chose not to open theirs, and
Yeah.
that raised a lot of questions, but we did our due diligence. We contacted the health department. They contacted the state health department. They said, open them. There's no reason not to. With the chlorine and everything in the pool, there's nothing to worry about, as long as you maintain the social distancing. She did a fantastic job. I walked it this morning. Everything is spaced out. red dots literally everywhere, even going up the stairs. They tried to get me to go down the slide to break the pull in. I said, no, not today.
Maybe next year.
My swimsuit would not have fit well after that.
Cool.
But they did a fantastic job. Their water is being tested so that the public knows, and the utilities is going to stop by every so often and just do a quick test to make sure that we're still good. So I feel that we've went above and beyond what the state has asked us to do, and she's done a fantastic job with that. And
Well, I have to give a lot of that credit to our pool manager and we have 3 pool managers, and a lot of credit goes to them for how flexible they have been. We got a packet about opening our pool from the CDC, and we got a packet for opening our day camp. And that, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's how we were able to do this. We just literally sat down with the camp manager and the pool manager, and we went through the whole packet together and said, how can we address this, this, and this? And if there was something in there that we didn't feel that we could accommodate, we weren't going to open.
yeah.
But we felt that there wasn't anything there that we couldn't reasonably meet,
And
so,
switching over to the new chemical company we just switched to,
yes.
that makes a big difference. You just spray it on, and all the chairs are getting sprayed, everything. So that makes life a lot easier.
And we did also switch over to bleach, liquid chlorine at the pool too, and that's gonna save us several $1,000s a year.
Safer too.
Yeah, versus those tablets.
That's great.
It's less manual labor, it's less
Safer.
chemical balancing and testing, and the guy that it's the same company that delivers our acid, and he will be doing all the transferring in those tanks, so none of our staff has to touch any of that stuff. So we're excited about that too.
Thank your staff for us.
Thank
your staff
I
for
will,
us.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Catherine.
thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Catherine.
Catherine.
Very good.
Mr. Bolos.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Well, Chief,
Just in case you all aren't aware, our new hirees' first day is today. Ryan Moorfield, he's doing in-service stuff on station, getting some other things cleared up, but we're waiting on him to get on the road, is get cleared by our perf. And he did the testing about 2 weeks ago, and it takes up to 30 days, but we anticipate him coming back in a week or so, hopefully. Then we'll see him on the street. So as far as reports go, everything pretty much stays the same with us, other than the fact of our ordinance violations. I think we're attacking these as they come in as quickly as we can. The public also has to know that it's a due process. If you call in today, doesn't mean it's taken care of tomorrow. So I just want them and you all to know that we are taking care of them. When I get a report, I don't sit on it. I get on it, I get it passed on, and make sure it's followed up on. There's a list that I give you guys every month of the progress that ordinance enforcement are doing with each property. Also, I don't know if you've got on there, but
Yes.
the mayor has access to every report that he does, and what he does, pictures, times, the days he takes care of them, what follows, what's next. It should all be on our Spillman reports. So if there's any questions with that, get with me or the mayor, and I'll be happy to forward something to you or answer your questions or follow up on whatever you need followed up on. I know it's a big concern this time of year because of everything that's going on in spring, summer, everybody's out and about. And we're doing the best we can to stay on top of that, just for your information.
Along with that, I want to interject if you don't mind. I got access to that, and I was hoping to be able to generate reports from that to save a process. What Spillman does for those guys is perfect. For my side, for reporting, it stinks. So it doesn't work the way I was wanting it to. So yes, now he's going to have to spend more time building a secondary report so you guys can view it. I was trying to eliminate that process. I see everything, I check up on everything. But the other problem we had was with COVID, the court system was shut down. Just about the time we got everything figured out on the attorney's side and the courts of the state side, how to proceed, because really the first few months of the year, we didn't have any teeth to stand on. We could write an ordinance, it didn't matter. It literally did not matter. We now have that process done through the state, through the courts, and then I sit down with Randy was that last week or something, and we're having a problem because now we're writing so many citations, the court can't keep up. And we were already looking to be in August with court. Well, we can't do that with citations, so I text Judge Freed, he immediately got on the back, so now he upped it to every week now, we're gonna start doing court, and so we're gonna start getting on top of things, because we can't be writing a citation, you got 5 days to fix it, but your court date's not for 3 months. That won't work. So this is a process, again, we have to follow the due diligence or the legal, what's the term I'm looking for? You just said it.
And I think we streamlined it pretty good. I mean,
We have.
I had conversations with, the ordinance people, the players here. Now it's a warning, and we're giving them an opportunity of 7 days to complete what we're asking you to do.
Yes.
And then after that 7 days, they're gonna go back and check on it. If it's not, then it's a citation, right then and there.
Yes.
And what's the time frame on the citation? I can't, is that,
Immediate.
I mean, I
It's
know.
7 days. So we go, if we get a complaint, we'll go out and warn them,
Yep.
and they have 7 days to comply.
Yep,
If they don't comply, then it's a ticket.
okay.
Then you stand before the judge.
Yeah.
Or no, they can come in here and
Pay
pay
it.
it
They
too.
come here and pay, but
That's
they
what I asked.
still have to
The second one
comply.
is guaranteed, you can't pay, you have to go to the judge.
I think we need to have another meeting to include my office in this meeting, so we have the process lined up.
Okay, yep.
Sorry. we'll get
Every
that.
time we change a process, we gotta have the right offices involved.
That's true.
We'll do that.
Thank
We've
you.
been changing this process weekly, so we're trying to stay
I
on
think
top
it's
of it.
streamlined now.
Yeah, and also, once we get the website done, I'll be able to hopefully do everything online, so they can pay it online, make it easier.
Brings up a point, can you put this on the web for us so we can pull this up and see you giving us copies?
Put it where?
For us to look at on the internet, on Facebook, not,
We're not there yet,
Can't
Mike,
do
we're
that.
not there yet.
okay.
And I don't know if this
It's
is something
okay.
that you want on
I
the,
don't think you can do that. with
No, I
this.
just meant to send to the Board of Works and the council, I don't mean for
well, he
public.
can probably send it to you via email.
It would save you time and paperwork, that's all I'm asking.
I think there's a lot of work in it. I'm okay, Mike, with them doing it as they are, just because there's so much work in it.
I agree, but I counted up and then my figures are right there, 149 notifications on this.
And that's only one part-time, well, Dennis,
Two.
we got
Yeah,
part-time
part-time
officer,
and part-time.
so. We're getting a lot done with a little bit of people, so. I think we're starting to get a handle on it and getting in better shape where we wanna go with it.
Any other questions?
Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thanks, chief.
Thank
John,
you,
is
Chief.
he out here? There he is. TV guy, get to be on TV.
Yep, that's always fun.
Mr. TV.
So for the month of May, we had 7 hours, 21 minutes of meeting production, 17 hours, 11 minutes of original production. Of course, we had the governor on as frequently as possible as he was doing his live updates, and he still continues to do that every once in a while now. One of the things that we have started doing in cooperation with the library, of course had to close down to the public, they're just now starting to ease that open just a little bit. But they wanted to continue their programming, so we helped them out with that. We were already doing library story time, so we took that program and made it every other week, which is something they wanted to do instead of just once a month. And we also added another one called Tiny Tots Story Time, which is for younger kids, and we do that every other week. And then there's 2 new programs that they came out with, which we're producing weekly now, which is Quarantine Cooking, and that's little desserts and things like that, and it kind of teaches people how to make that at home. And the other one is Crafty Corner, which is for parents to work with the kids on creating crafts at home. Things that normally would be programming they'd be able to do at the library, but they wanted to reach a broader audience, especially now. So we've been doing those, and those are weekly programs. We also started a program called Shot Clock in cooperation with Nathan Shaw, a CHS media student, that he started that was really interesting. It was a Zoom interview, and he started interviewing high school different athletes at the high school that, of course, didn't have their season. And so he even created a contest of horse, where basketball players were playing horse against one another on Zoom. So they weren't even in the same area, but they were playing back and
That's
forth.
cool.
It was really interesting, and we're continuing to play that. But he's also reached out and he's interviewing a lot of professionals and those that aren't actually able to participate in professional sports too. And he's talking not just to them, but professional videographers and photographers, so it's fascinating stuff. That airs weekdays at 6:30 in case you wanted to watch that. Crafty Corner, and that's at weekdays at 5:30. Tiny Tot Story Time is weekdays at 10:30 a.m. and immediately following that at 10:45 is Quarantine Cooking. So a lot of new programming.
You should do quarantine cooking right before this meeting, and then we get to be your sample judge.
Yes, yes, yeah. That would work. Any questions?
Does your schedule change every month, or is it pretty much set at?
As far as our playback schedule?
Yeah, because what I see on TV, I only notice what's there for the day.
Right.
So-
It stays pretty much the same month to month unless there's special programming, which does happen sometimes. Of course, our special programming inserts are Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays at 8 p.m. That's always going to change weekly. And then, of course, we've been adding a lot of new programming recently, so you'll see that added in there as well.
I like the variety of the programs too.
We try to spread that out so that different things on different days, and to try to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see everything at different times.
We are very blessed to have TV3, I can tell you that.
Yes, we are. John does an outstanding job, I'd like to say that too.
He and his entire staff,
I was gonna say, Jessica over here,
That's what I'm saying, his group.
Yeah, it takes two of us.
Yeah,
there's a lot of communities that wish they had your service, and I'm glad we do.
yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure do. Thank you, sir.
Very much.
Thanks.
You can see Clint Hardness marked out. He had a baby over the week. Well, his wife had a baby over the weekend.
Did you have it?
Yes, she had it over the weekend. So I told him he gets a pass today, so he can stay home. So I'd like to congratulate he and his wife on their baby. So I haven't seen Dan out there. Scott.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good afternoon, Jude.
I believe everyone has a copy of our last month's overtime sheet and our run sheet. Is there anything that you would like me to go over on either one of those? Any questions? No? A few things that we have going on for the department right now. Got the guys are still in the middle of getting their physicals. It's been a long process. We originally planned on having those done probably in April, but due to the shutdown, they're going to public safety medical up in Indy this year. They gave me a better quote than Reed did, so that's where we used to go get our physicals. So the guys have been going up there 2 at a time to get blood work, and then they get their physicals scheduled later. But it's been a lengthy process due to the COVID situation, but we're currently still doing those. I received a couple bids. I know in the previous letters that you've gotten while we were not meeting in person, if you remember, I was getting bids to have some concrete pads installed at 2 of the stations for some generators that were purchased last year. I did have 3 different people come and look. I received 1 bid back for the prices that or the quotes that you see there in the paper. Those seem to be pretty reasonable to me. Having some experience in doing that type of work, those seem to be pretty reasonable. Basically what I did was the pads for the generators only have to be probably like 5 by 12. That's not very much concrete, so I took the opportunity to fix a few other things that we were having issues at the stations, both stations, the north end and east side, 3 and 4. They had some concrete in front of the both back doors that had collapsed and fell towards the building, so we're going to, in combination with pouring the pads, we're going to replace a few things. And then at Station 4, when the baby box was put in, that was one of the things that the lady that was in charge of that mentioned that she would like to see there be, because it was put around back and it's basically a grassy area that leads up to the box. she would have liked to have seen us have put it in a spot where it had better access, even though that was the best spot that we could locate. So this was an opportunity to extend that around to that portion also. Trying to, I believe there's like a 3 or 4 yard minimum on
3 yard,
concrete.
3 yard minimum.
So,
Plus fees.
just trying to utilize as much as I can to replace some things that need replaced. I know at the station at the north end, the deck on the back was removed because we thought we were going to have to go, the solar company was gonna have to go through there, so, and it was an old deck anyway, so we're gonna replace that with concrete. So those were the 2 bids that I received from N&N Construction.
Now,
for
Scott,
that.
you mentioned not much concrete for the generators. As far as footprint, you're correct, but I'm sure N&N takes in consideration that you've got this very heavy piece of equipment that will be vibrating
Right.
as it runs,
Right,
heat, maybe discharge of some oil or something,
right,
that just make sure it's deep and solid.
right, yeah, we went over that.
And you'll work with David Lay or whoever gets the bid to make sure you get the conduit through that concrete, or you're going to go
No,
side?
there's nothing gonna be in the ground. The natural gas, he come and looked at both sides, saying all the wiring and all the natural gas connections is gonna all be above ground, so.
Okay, okay,
So,
all
yeah,
right, good.
The reason he mentioned the concrete, I mean, there's a footer pad, a drawing that comes with a generator, so you know exactly how thick to pour it. But if it's half a yard of concrete, even if it's a yard of concrete, you're paying for 3 to 4 yards of concrete no matter what.
true.
Because they have a
Yeah, right.
minimum
They
fee,
won't bring it if you don't.
so you might as well,
well, they'll bring it, but you'll pay a fee on top of it.
you're gonna pay,
Pay a penalty,
you're
yeah.
paying for it no matter what. So if you got other projects,
So-
you're paying for it anyway, you might as well
Right.
do your other
We
projects.
had issues
Yeah.
at both stations that.
Not that I'm not disagreeing with
Yeah, I'm just
everything
letting
he's
you know.
doing, I just say, make sure that.
Right.
there's
Might as well
no
use
We
what
don't
you
wanna have to
get.
do it again.
You're paying for it, you might as well use
That's
it.
right, use what you get.
Right. So any questions on that?
No.
Okay. Previously, you probably also read that I've been looking into trying to upgrade our reporting software. We're currently still using the same software that was, that's the first software we ever started using, probably 19 plus years ago. It's never been upgraded. It's very limited in its capabilities. And not only that, it relies on a server that we have down at Station 1 that we have problems with quite a bit. I have to call Mike quite a bit to come over and work on that. So, and then also he said, you know, if that server, it's old, that would require several $1,000s to replace also. All the new software that is out there is all cloud-based and doesn't require a server. And I reviewed 3 different software programs, and basically what I'm looking at is the pricing that's on your paper there, and I'm still trying to decide whether I'm going to squeeze it out of my budget or not. It's only halfway through the year, so I want to make sure that, you know, I'm gonna, you know, have room. But it's something I really would like to do. It's gonna give us a lot more opportunities to do things out in the field. I applied for, Jolisa applied for a grant for me for 5 tablets that we would be able to utilize out in the field doing inspections, you know, code enforcement, fire prevention, and would also allow us to use out on the fire scene. And we currently don't have that option with the software we got now. So basically that's what I'm looking at. I haven't made a decision yet, other than the lowest price one, obviously. But where I'm going to try to pull it from, I haven't quite decided yet on that. But
I have a question, Chief. On the yearly reoccurring fee, have you researched that? That seems like a high dollar to me. It may not be, but
it's
is it all?
cheaper than anyone else.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, they basically start you out with a base package, and then and that's just with fire reporting, and you know, and that all the new software programs will automatically upload every report to the state because you're required
That's
to.
fine.
And
okay.
currently, right now, Mike has to
Michael does
come and generate a monthly report from our server and manually send it up himself
That's
also.
okay.
So
Thank you.
You said the information stored on the cloud, do you store it anywhere yourself so you have?
they handle all the data, all the backup. You know, that's all handled by their
servers.
And
I'm
it's
still old fashioned.
Oh, I know, it's common practice,
Yeah.
every time
I
I
know.
called all three companies and, I did a demo, a live web demo for each one, and when they ask you what you're currently using, they say, are you serious? So, we're just trying to upgrade and make things more smooth and give us more capabilities. It'll give us, so many more capabilities of doing things, and make things a lot quicker. The new fire truck, we got the new fire truck a few weeks back. It's not in service yet. I had to have the decals removed. In the process of having the decal removed, it took some paint off of one of the doors, so I had to have one of the doors repainted. Come to find out, the truck had had some minor work done on it before, so that's why that happened. But we got it back last week, and we've had some issues arise since I printed this out, so it's currently up in Indianapolis getting some repair work done on it, but Brindley Mountain's taking care of that, so. So as soon as we
And
get
that's
it.
who we bought it from originally.
Yes.
Yes.
I told the guys to take it out, all week long and pump on it, make sure everything functions correctly. And we found an issue in the pump, so I called them and basically they were gonna fix it. So, I took it up Friday to Indy, and it's currently, I haven't heard anything back from them yet, but they're gonna fix it, so.
It's good that you ran that exercise on it.
Yeah. So, other than that, that's all I got going on. Any questions?
No, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Johnny.
Rifle truck. Thought you were trying to sneak out on us.
The report for the street department, anybody have any questions on it? You want me to read it and tell you how many tons of limbs and dirt and
Saw
everything
the
we hauled
pile.
this month?
Saw the
Well.
pile from the street sweeper.
Yeah, it's doing a good job. He's had it out there
How's the
every
sweep-
available day so far.
Sorry, but how's the sweeper holding up?
Good. There's nothing wrong with it. He's still figuring out how full he can fill the hopper in the back before it wants to shut.
There's a learning curve. You got pressures on your brooms you gotta learn because they wear down. You gotta change your pressures,
Yeah.
filling it when it's full.
This
There's a
thing's
lot there.
got ongoing maintenance because it's a mechanical piece of equipment. So far, it looks like it picks up really good. I like the way it picks up gravel.
It's
I was just gonna ask you, does that have a weight indicator on it when you get so much weight in that?
sound.
None of
Oh,
them
it
do,
is?
not surprises
Sound.
me.
None of them do. You go by sound. You can tell when it's foot
After he
changes.
gets used to it, you can hear what it sounds like when it starts getting full.
I followed him around several times.
He was up on my street this
That would
morning or
be-
yesterday, and it does a good job. It's very thorough.
It'd probably be difficult because volume and weight would be two different things,
Yeah.
depending on what you're picking up.
But there's no, because it's so dry, there's no, like our back truck, because it's liquid, it's got an arm that comes up and an alarm, but this
Right.
thing is dirt, so there's just no,
Dirt, yeah.
Okay.
but anyway, it's doing okay. He filled it too full a couple of times, just getting used to the piece of equipment. but-
There's a learning curve.
I appreciate Bonnie over there. I've called over there a few times, and she's always helped me anytime I
So
need it.
everybody keep in mind, he's sweeping within the trash route. But I wanna make sure everybody understands that doesn't mean the whole trash route gets swept every week. It might take, it'll probably be like once a month that he'll actually make it around to each person's neighborhood. So he probably gets a fourth of it done. And this first time, it's even slower because he's picking up so much. So keep that in mind. You're not gonna see him every week. As far as the utility report goes, we had, again, water revenue is down. The water fund is basically just breaking even. Like I told you last month, we're putting $25,000 a month in depreciation, so that if you add those totals, like, for example, for the year, it looks like water's underwater by 58,000, but if you figure that 125,000 that we put in depreciation, it's actually okay. So, as far as the report goes, anybody have any particular questions about it?
He answered mine, thank you.
Was you gonna ask me about that?
I was gonna ask you about the water.
So,
bill.
Brian mostly. So, it's actually okay.
I know.
Water isn't ain't as healthy as I wished it was. It's still.
Yeah, but you and I have talked about it, I'm not worried about it.
I think when we figured the rate increase, we rated it a little too heavy on water for some reason. I don't know what exactly happened, but the other phones look better than water does.
Right.
But you've got a lot of projects going too, both water and wastewater, so.
And we've got $350,000 almost in depreciation, so the money that I'm getting ready to spend on this 30th Street project is pretty much in there. And won't come out at one end. We didn't have to actually move too much money around with it, so. The other one thing I wanted to remind you was that we are open at the street department on Saturday mornings from 8 to 11:45 for people to drop off recycling. Nobody's really been using it. If it continues that way, I moved some people around so that we would have somebody working on Saturday morning and then they take off hours on another day. But I think last Saturday we had 0 people that actually came and dropped it off. And we opened it over there so because a few people had said, you know, we work and it makes it awful hard on us to be able to drop off recycling. Could you be open on Saturday? So we did. Now the transfer station is also open that morning, but in case the word hasn't got out, the street department gates are open and you can bring recycling in there between 8 and 11:45.
Has that been put in the paper, Brad?
I've posted it and everything several times.
I thought you did. I thought I
Just
saw
thought
it.
I'd say it again in case the word isn't getting out. We'll stick with it for a few more months, but if it keeps going like this,
We'll change it.
Okay.
Just as you need.
Yeah.
Brad, how's the heavy trash coming along? I mean, we're able to
So far, so
start
good.
the,
It's been a success, I think, so far. It's a lot of work for Bonnie, keeping track and everything, but we went out and picked up about 35 items each of the first 2 weeks that we picked up so far. I've had a lot of compliments. People are happy that we're trying to do it. You know, it's one item at a time. And if you call 825-1421, you can leave a message what you have and where it is, and Bonnie will call you back and schedule what week, because we're already scheduled through, we're into July right now. There's already a list made up for the next 3 weeks that's full. But so far, seems to be working out. We have a lot of questions about what constitutes one item. Some people think if they wrap tape around 7 items.
I saw some of that.
appreciate you, Brad.
Yep.
Thanks, Brad.
Good job, thank you.
Okay, any old business? No? Clarence? Miscellaneous?
Good afternoon.
Clarence.
You see the first page is a handwritten ordinance for the parking lot north of this building. There's 2 different ordinances. One of them was 96, and the other one was 08. We need to, as a council, we need to eliminate both or one of these and apply one of them so we can have our ordinances up to date. Board of Works probably is gonna be interested in this one because of signage, because they're required to do the signage. The rest of the ordinances in the rest of it, I've added, being on the committee of ordinances to help with the city and the cleanup of the community with trees, sidewalks, and that sort of stuff, which the board's not too much interested in that kind of thing, but the first page, I think, is probably going to be of more interest. Plus, we have to stay focused on ADA requirements also when we think about all the signage in the back of this building, or in the north side of it.
Will you and the ordinance committee be coming to the council with a new ordinance to be up to date? And so these are no longer part of the record?
We'll have to figure out which way we want to go on this, whether we want to go with one of these or whether we want to adopt a new one
Well,
first.
what's out there isn't either one of these, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
In answer to your question, Dave, to help Clarence, he knows, but we're pending our next meeting with Diane, Clarence, and myself to go over the ordinances again. And of course, the coverts put us on delay, but Diane is going to get with us, I think, yet this month, and we're going to have a sit down and begin the process again. Right?
As long as there's sufficient parking for the public also.
Right, that's part of the problem we're gonna have is, like I said with ADA, we're have to, the police department's interest back here, so we'll have to have obviously a place back here for them to park as well. But the other ordinance, you know, I can go through them if you want. I don't think it's gonna apply to the board here. That I've inserted into our existing ordinance, the highlighted areas, to try to help eliminate some of the trees and the street department's problem with coming out in the middle of the night when a storm happens. Sidewalks being covered with grass, and you can already see sidewalks. Parking problem. I'm trying to apply some ordinance on that. There's one other one that I'm probably gonna add into this. We can do that at a later date. I notice there's a lot of cars sitting around with flat tires on them, has proper registration on them, and obviously nothing can be done with that, so we're gonna have to address that issue with a time limit on how long you can park a vehicle in a particular spot. Instead of using the city streets for a parking garage, they need to find a park that's building through that. Anybody have any questions?
So you're wondering, to review, really the first one for the board works is the parking. Does the current parking situation we have now, is it fine?
Is it fine?
I know it doesn't match this ordinance, but what we have now works, right?
I've already looked at it. It doesn't match the ordinances.
I understand, but it works.
But does the signs, are the signs okay?
Oh, the signage is all right.
So we just make a new ordinance matching our current parking, and not have to mess with any of the signs.
Mine is, we have to have a handicap probably parking like that.
There's two right out. Mike, you park in the first two, those are handicapped.
I mean, how close are you gonna have one to the police department entrance? I haven't dove into their requirements as far as,
That'd be Bill McDaniel. But I don't know if those two suffice for that, or since it's the same law or not, I don't know the answer.
As long as you got straight shot.
Yeah, I think it does too.
Spots to the door.
My suggestion, if this one fits, just write an ordinance to make this one fit versus going through the expense of new signs and do everything.
right, and we can remove,
Yeah.
And I think that's what Clarence and I was talking about at the start of this conversation, that,
right,
you know,
Remove these two.
right.
Yep.
And also, if you look at old order, it particularly says, it
Repeal.
supersedes any.
Supersedes any
Right.
old.
but we need to remove these out of the computer system as well as our ledgers.
Yep.
Because we've still got some old ordinance, so I've made some notes on this. There's some old ordinance still on Court Street. We don't have Court Street anymore.
One of the difficult things about some of the things that Clarence and I have discussed and is on his report here is there's a lot of things that ordinance enforcer is currently doing, and then wonder how far do we go?
Right.
Because you know, residents don't always take care of things.
Oh,
Whether it's sidewalk or branches hanging out into the road or whatever.
I mean, we want them to do that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to have to go around and trim people's trees and their lawns and that sort of stuff.
Right.
But this is trying to encourage them to let them know that we're on top of this stuff and we want the city to be glittering like every other city in town or in the community. And it can be done that way. Just have to take some
We'll
effort
get
and
into
some
that
pride.
when we get started back up.
Well, I appreciate you. It's been a lot of work diving into that, I know. And when you get everything presented, then with the orders committee.
We got a lot more to do, but it's
Not just him, but the ordinance committee themselves, right?
Right.
Three of
the
you.
committee, right?
I'm
Oh,
not
it's
the
a
only
lot.
one in this,
Right.
so.
Anything for Clarence? Thank you, sir. I'll see you tonight.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Clarence.
much.
Thank you, Clarence, I appreciate it.
Any other miscellaneous business? Nope. Okay, claims, Mike.
For the city was $131,612.03. Payroll was $557,818.11. And our utilities was $188,553.79.
Motion to approve.
I'll move. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, public forum. Everybody from the public got anything to say?
I don't know if it's fit for public forum or I should have spoke up in the miscellaneous, but
Miscellaneous.
well, can I do it anyway?
Well, yeah.
I just want to thank everyone for the parade for the seniors last Saturday.
Very
I
nice.
thought that was awesome myself, because I live just off of West Street there. But when those fire trucks and the ambulances came out with the sirens, and I had to laugh at those two guys that dressed in the bikinis. That was just awesome. And I think everyone really had a good time. I really do.
They did.
And I'd just like to thank everyone that was involved that put it on, because we might want to look at doing that again next year. But it was extremely hot, but everybody enjoyed it, I think. Thank you, Mayor.
It was a
Mr.
great
Mayor, if I may,
experience.
along with that, how the whole community is adapting to a new way of doing things.
Exactly.
My wife and I went to the Fair Queen contest yesterday. You could only go by invitation only because limited people could be there. And our club was a sponsor, so. But the County Free Fair did their best to make it as nice as they could under the conditions that they had, and it was just great. And so congratulations on the new queen and her court. And it'll be certainly a new fair to go to compared to ones in the past, but I think they'll do a great job.
Yeah, times are definitely interesting and been a different year, that's for sure. Like anyone's life, there is no standard, there is no norm right now.
That's
So
for sure.
at least we can give these kids something special, something they can remember. That was the goal.
Oh, they'll remember 2020, that's for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Even starting back to college, their first year in college is gonna be different too, so those who are choosing to go, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a year. Any other miscellaneous business? Actually, we're on public forum. Nope. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
First motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.